Stand by for Bwana.org radio. In 3, 2, 1. Cue the announcer.
You found Bwana.org radio, your one source for tech news and reviews. Now, almost live from sunny Florida, here's your host, Bwana McCall.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to episode 244 of Bwana.org radio. We got a great show lined up for you. Going to be talking about 14 internet stuffs over at pinboard.in. I got a bunch of bookmarks set up over there. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. Today was a big event in the world of Apple. If you've been living under a rock and you follow Apple, today they announced some new details regarding iPhone OS 4.0, and I'm going to be talking about some of that today. It's not going to be a show dedicated to it. I'm going to keep it nice and short for you because we got 14 other topics to talk about. But I apologize. Well, I can't really apologize because I couldn't help it for missing the past two shows. Past couple Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was, as you can probably hear from my voice, I wasn't 100% healthy. But I thought I was healthy enough today to give you guys some more tech news and reviews, and that's what we're going to do today here on Bwana.org radio, episode 244, boy. So let's get right into it, shall we? We got a great show lined up for episode 244 of Bwana.org radio.
It's time for Bwana.org radio's tech news for this week.
And I'm just not going to waste any time and jump right in and talk about iPhone OS. That stands for operating system, in case you guys didn't understand that. iPhone OS 4, which was unveiled today. And I got the link over at Engadget.com. But if you search the web, you're going to see it all over the internet. I mean, it's just everywhere. And there was a bunch of things added. Some of the rumor sites nailed pretty much a lot of things. And, you know, I was streaming it live, and, you know, we were watching all live at live.bwana.tv and justin.tv/Bwana during the event. You know, before the show, we were talking about possible things that could come. I think pretty much everything that people talked about was either mentioned or is going to be part of it. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. iPhone OS 4. Now, the way they positioned it, the way Steve came out in this keynote, is that he first started talking about the iPad, which Gizmodo kind of called. Gizmodo was like, we bet you so many amounts of money and all kinds of stuff.
You're listening to Bwana.org radio.
I sure am. We bet you all kinds of monies and stuff that they're going to brag about the iPad numbers. And I was cracking up because the first thing that came out, we sold 450,000 iPads, and we sold this, and we sold that. I was just cracking up. But anyway, he broke it out into 7 tent poles or something like that. And I was like, what's Steve's obsession with these tent poles? Did he go like camping or something? I don't know. Anyway, the 7 tent poles. First one is multitasking, and when he described it, a lot of people were like, this just looks like app switching. But essentially what happens is that you double tap on the home button on the iPhone. All right, and when you do that, the window kind of lifts up, and the bottom row of the iPhone shows you what apps are running, and you can switch between each one. And they went into detail with multitasking. They basically, you know, talked about all the different aspects, and the way they're positioning it is that they're producing new services that will run on the iPhone in the background to enable your application to make use of multitasking. For example, background audio. They brought up my favorite radio station, Pandora.com, and Pandora is going to be utilizing a new API which allows them to stream background audio. It's going to be same for location services and other things alike. So they seems like they took the more common workflows and they created services for those. What does that mean? That means that a lot of applications are going to have to be rewritten, recompiled or whatever with the new SDK which was released today, and they're going to have to rewrite and compile these applications using these new APIs. Pandora claimed they did it in one day. less than a day, they got their app compliant with this new thing, and I think that's good. That was one of my number one complaints on the iPhone. If you go back and listen to my original review of the iPhone, I was like, man, I really, really wish I could listen to Pandora in the background instead of just iPod. And lo and behold, now I can. It took a while. They said they took their time because they wanted to get it right. They wanted to make sure they didn't sacrifice too much performance and too much battery life. And it kind of brought itself to the forefront because we found out later that multitasking is not going to be supported on the iPhone 1st gen and the iPhone 3G. So the first iterations of hardware couldn't do multitasking. So I think that's one of the big reasons why they didn't do multitasking in the beginning. It'll only be available on the iPhone 3GS, and I think the 3rd gen iPod Touch. I'll have to verify that. But they're not going to be available on the older systems. So they claim the hardware can't handle it. I believe that. I really believe the hardware can't handle it. Just judging by my speed test that I conducted on my 3GS and how quickly I can move between apps and how much memory is available. If you try to do multitasking on the old iPhone, it probably will crumble. I believe that. Anyway, some more features that they talked about was spell check. They didn't talk about spell check, but these are some of the new features that they have. User-defined wallpaper. That's something that jailbroken iPhones have been able to do for a while. We saw it come on the iPad, and people kind of guessed it was going to come to the iPhone. You can now customize your wallpaper behind your home screen, not just on the lock screen. And they said that you can do a wallpaper for the lock screen and the home screen. Tap to focus, playlist creation, app folders. This is a big one. One of the first things I did when I jailbroke my iPhone was I got an app called Categories, which allowed me to basically organize my applications on my iPhone into nested folders or categories. This is essentially the same thing. They're calling it app folders, and you can basically drag and drop an app onto one another and group them into different categories. Enhanced mail, they did a whole bunch of stuff with that. They brought iBooks from the iPad. They brought some enterprise features, remote device management, some encryption stuff. And this last one is just huge. This last one is ginormous, guys. Game Center. I did not see this coming. When it was announced, I kind of fell out of my chair virtually. I didn't do it physically, but I was like, I did a kneel. I was like, oh, well, dude, what? Well. Game Center. Now, what this is Apple has decided to create a social environment for games, social gaming network, if you will, which will have matchmaking, which will have leaderboards, which will have achievements. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like Steam, sounds like PSN, and sounds like Xbox Live. And Microsoft is going to be putting, didn't we talk about this? Microsoft's going to be putting Xbox Live on Windows Phone 7. Yeah, yes, evil Apple. Yes, basically duplicating those features. Now, I got to commend Apple. I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. I got to commend Apple because this is something that's going to enrich their gaming platform. It's not going to hurt it. Definitely not going to hurt it. If anything, it's going to help it. Will it propel it to elite status of golden feathers? No. But it's definitely going to help it. I can't wait to see how it looks. I can't wait to see how the achievement system is. And I can't wait to see how Microsoft reacts. And, if they're going to chuckle, if Steve Ballmer's going to say, we had Xbox Live way before Apple even thought about games. Or are they going to say, well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Basically what Nintendo did with Sony. Anyway, guys, the new SDK is available today. So if you're a developer of iPhone apps, you'll be able to download that right now and play with it. But for us normal people, it won't be available until this summer. and no definite date was given, just this summer. It'll be available for the iPad this fall. Yeah, this fall. So it's going to be a little bit of the delay, and I really think it's a good update, guys. I mean, there's a lot of things in here that they didn't cover. I mean, 1,500 new APIs and hundreds of new features, and they only covered 7 major ones. There's going to be new surprises that are going to be coming. Obviously, there's going to be some new hardware coming soon. So they probably held back on the hardware-specific features. One I didn't talk about was iAd. iAd is a new advertising platform which allows developers to create interactive advertising, which will not be able. You will be able to use these ads in your apps, and you won't have to exit your apps. That's the big selling point, but I mean, you can basically create an interactive ad that's an application in itself, and that's what Apple was showing with their demonstrations and stuff. So guys, there's a lot more to this. I'm not going to cover it all. I'm pretty sure Apple will have the keynote available on their website very, very shortly, and I'm quite sure that you can get a much higher resolution visual representation than the images we saw today. So check this out, guys, over at Engadget.com. They got the details over there. Now we're going to move along a little bit, and we're going to talk about something that is shaking up the community, and it has to do with the iPhone. Today, along with the SDK that came out, Apple updated their developer agreement to basically state, in so many words, that cross-compiler apps are now forbidden. Cross-compiler applications are now forbidden on the App Store. Now, what's a cross-compiled app? Well, there's a bunch of things out there that will allow you to port your applications from a previous platform, say from Android or from Windows Mobile, to cross-compile it to the iPhone. The biggest one, the one that's making the most ruffles, is Flash to iPhone compiler. One of the big features in Adobe, was it CS6? What are they up to now? The article mentions it. CS5. In Adobe Creative Suite 5, one of the big selling points is a iPhone compiler. So you'll be able, in this CS5, to hit a button and your apps will apparently work on an iPhone. Well, Apple has basically slammed the door shut on those types of applications. Now, this wording isn't targeting Flash specifically, but Flash definitely falls in that category. There's a lot, there's a lot of controversy around this. I don't really have an opinion on it yet. I'm still digesting a lot of the details. I don't like Flash, so I made that known. I made that public that I really don't like Flash, so I'm not shedding tears right now. But I do want to investigate a little bit more. This is DaringFireball.net's article, which has been circulated on the internet. He's talking about it. He has the exact wording, the exact wording of the developer agreement, and he's got the details. So I highly recommend you read it, check it out. And I'm going to be looking into this a little bit further, but it is definitely creating a lot of controversy in the community about the iPhone developer update. So check it out. DaringFireball.net has the details over there. Now, one of the things that I saw on the iPad that made me want one was the Netflix app. When I saw the iPad Netflix app, I was like, I want one. I was like, that changes everything. I want an iPad now because of Netflix. Because I can just imagine, just using my vivid imagination, that Netflix would rock. But if I don't get an iPad, it'd be good to know that it'll be coming to the iPhone as well. This article over on Netflix blog basically has stated that they're working on a Netflix app for the iPhone and the iPod Touch. It's coming soon. And it's definitely going to be coming. So while I will like Netflix on the iPhone, it's like it's like you're eating a vanilla ice cream cone, and you see someone next to you eating like a triple sundae banana shake. Sure, that ice cream cone you have in your hand is tasty and moist, but theirs probably tastes so wonderful. That's how I feel about this. Netflix on the iPad is probably going to be a much more enjoyable experience, and that's where I want it. I'll take it on the iPhone, but I'll be like, man, I want that banana, my shake, my sundae. Man, it looks good. Anyway, check this out. This one's over on Netflix's blog. They got the details, and they got all kinds of stuff over there that you can check out that I think you'll enjoy. Why?
You're listening to Bwana.org Radio, a potpourri of tech news and reviews.
Now, let's talk about the iPad while I'm on the topic. The iPad sales. Today, Apple said that iPad sold 450,000, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. And I think the first day, it was exclaimed that they shipped or sold 300,000. A lot of people are like, that's not a lot. Well, this article kind of puts that in perspective, and they compare how the iPad sales compared to the Xbox 360, Wii, and PS3. It's a good article. I mean, it puts it in perspective. It talks about just how day one electronics sell. And they go back to the PS2. And the PS2 in the U.S. has sold 500,000 on the first weekend and 600,000 on the first day. So, the iPad sold 300,000. PS3 sold 197,000 in the first 2 weeks. And in Europe, it sold 600,000 in the first 2 days. Not bad, huh? The 360 sold 326,000 units in under 2 weeks. And it had production shortages. I remember that. So it took them 2 weeks to get pretty much what Apple got in a day. And what, it took Sony a while to get that in the first 2 weeks in the U.S. The Nintendo Wii, it sold 600,000 in 8 days. The GameCube, it sold 300,000, give or take, in 1 day. So it's not that bad. 300,000 iPads is not a bad number in 1 day. And they've sold 450,000. I think we're going on a week now. So I think this puts it in perspective. I mean, the sales, while I try not to dwell on them, before you dismiss them and say that they're abysmal, you just have to compare them to other consumer electronic devices out there. I think consoles are a good way to do that. So check this out. This is on GottaBeMobile.com. Very interesting article. I think it put a great perspective, and I just never thought about it from a console perspective. So check that out. Now, this came my way in my chat room a couple days ago. People are like, hey, the Juju got released, or the Juju got reviewed. And what's a Juju, Bwana? Is it a bean? Nah, it's this new tablet. Used to be called a Crunch Pad. And I said, okay, let me go see what this thing is. And I watched the video that Engadget did of this device, and I was feeling so bad. I actually was feeling sorry for the makers of the Juju. Oh, it was atrocious. I'm telling you, the UI, the guy was trying to use it. He was trying to be nice. He wasn't trying to break it. But the UI, it boots fast. I mean, that's one compliment. But the UI is just so terrible. It would drive me nuts to be able to have to navigate things in this way. And I encourage you to go to this link at Engadget and watch this video walkthrough right here with this guy, Paul Miller. And he does he's trying to be neutral, but man, the thing is just terrible. And the demo just failed in like 10 different ways. Release unit, wasn't pre-release. Check it out, guys. Fusion Garage Juju review. I really felt bad for those guys. Supposed to be a competitor to the iPad. Frankly, if I were to get, I'm not going to say that, but if I would not get a Juju. Just based on this review alone, just what I saw, the fail, I would not get a Juju. Check it out over at Engadget.com. Now let's shift gears a little bit to Android. Android has been making waves, and during my coverage of the Apple event, it was pretty apparent that it's Apple's biggest competitor, because a lot of people in the chat room, they were like, well, Droid does that. I mean, you can tell the commercials have gotten them. Droid does this. Droid does that. These are not the Droid. Droids. These are not. This is not Droid. No. This is not the Droid you're looking for. Everybody's like, oh, Droid already does that. Droid does this. Droid does that. But anyway, Android is making waves, and it's a big competitor. And this article kind of supports that. It says that the app growth is on the rise. Yeah, on the rise here, guys. Check it out. 9,000 new apps in March alone. 9,000 new apps in just March. So yeah, I think that's a huge uptick in apps. Since the launch of Google Android Market in October 2008, developer ecosystem surrounding the OS has seen rapid growth. 1 week, there were just 167 applications. And in September 2009, they passed 1,000 applications, and now it has over 20,000. So it's just ridiculous. If you look at this chart, look at the trend. It's just like boink, big time spike. So Android is gaining huge momentum, and I must commend Google for their efforts in the Android OS. Hopefully they don't drop the ball, because there's a lot to be said for the platform. It does have a lot of potential. Hopefully it will challenge Apple to keep them on their toes. So check it out. This one's over on readwriteweb.com. Now, speaking of cell phones, I saw this graphic in my Google Reader, and I'm just going to share it with you guys. It's very, very interesting, and it talks about what happened to cell phones this decade. And it kind of takes you through a bunch of statistics and just time, what was going on then versus now. So, this decade, in 2000, the Samsung Uproar, this was the first MP3 phone, all right, versus the iPhone in 2009, the 3GS. If you look at the comparison here, it says storage, it had 64 megabytes back then. The iPhone 3GS has 16 gigabytes. The battery life was 2 hours. 2 hours talk time. I'm not joking. 2 hours talk time. And the battery life of the 3GS is 5 hours. This one didn't have a camera. iPhone does. Didn't have any Wi-Fi. iPhone does. GPS, none. iPhone does. No voice commands. No app store. No apps. And it was $399. This is a Samsung Uproar. Now, this is not long ago, guys. This is 2000. iPhone 3GS today is $200. That right there, I was like, wow. That's a good statistic there. It just shows how far we've come with technology and pricing. Look at that, $399 for that phone. It was the first MP3 phone, and wow. But it goes on to say, in 2000, 1 out of 10 people in the world owned a cell phone. By the end of 2009, 6 out of 10 had a cell phone. The world texts a lot. Last year alone, the world sent over 4 trillion texts. That's a growth of 23,500%. 23,500%. 23,500%. Yes, since 2000. Wow. That added up to $130 billion in revenue just from texting. Dude, just from texting. $130 billion in revenue. 130, that's just ridiculous. Anyway, goes on to say, well, the drawback is that 40% of young adults admit to frequently texting while driving. That contributes to 2,600 Americans who die from cell phone related car accidents. Don't text and drive. Cell phones are the biggest driver distractions. But statistically, sound like Jim Carrey from that movie. Statistically, the deadliest, that goes to rubbernecking. Mobile applications became big as well. 1,500, that's the amount of submissions the Apple App Store receives each day. 4.5 billion, that's how many applications will be downloaded by year's end. 6.8 billion. So it just goes through all these numbers. And this is the one I like. In America, 50% of young adults never used a landline. This blew me away. 50% of you dummies out there. Dummies! What's a landline? What do you mean? What's a landline? 50% have never used it. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, how you not losing? What did you? Anyway, landline revenues plummeted 30% this decade, and they will continue to diminish over 50% in the coming years. That I agree with. Here are some of the weirdest cell phone creations. Cell phone lingerie. Oh, that's just crazy. Some other stuff. The cell phone has evolved from a health scare gimmick to groundbreaking essential social tool. So it went from skull and crossbones to a little blue bird called Twitter. And it's got a whole bunch of stuff, and they have the citations for all of this data. So, guys, this is just a picture. It's called celldecade.jpg. Very interesting. I was reading that, and I just couldn't believe all the stuff, all the juicy stuff that was in there. So check that out. That has the details over. It's over on cellphones.org, but the link I have in my pinboard list actually has the direct link. So check it out over there.
You found Bwana.org Radio. Tech news and tech gadgets for the hardcore geek in all of us.
Now we're going to talk about Modern Warfare 2, guys. Some Modern Warfare 2 party out there. Party out there. Apparently, this new stimulus package that came out on the Xbox 360 has been making waves. It has been breaking records. It has been doing all kinds of things. But check this out. The stimulus package sold over 2.5 million units in a week. 2.5 million units in a week at $15 a pop. 2.5 million in 1 week. No, this is not a month. This is not 3 months. Not even a year. This is in a week. For 5 new maps. 2.5 million units. Amazing. Amazing. I think even the people who bought the map pack will admit that it's overpriced. You know, they can justify it and say, well, I'm willing to pay more than what it's worth for it. But they'll admit this is a $10 map pack at the most for $15. They'd be like, it's only $5. Well, yeah, you can say that about anything. It's only $100. Oh, it's only $200. Oh, it's only $5 million. 2.5 million units in a week at $15 a pop. I could not believe it. I knew it was going to be a lot because they had a lot of trouble in the beginning. A lot of people, I mean, when this thing came out, Xbox Live pretty much was crawling to its knees. But you guys really love Modern Warfare 2 on the 360. You really love this game. I mean, I've seen some articles. I think they said today, I got to find the article, but it said you guys have racked up like 200,000 gaming years of playtime. 200,000 gaming years combined. If you take all the time you guys played Modern Warfare 2, 200,000 gaming years. That's freaking insane. Check it out. This was over on joystick.com. And in a related article, the stimulus package DLC will be coming to the other platforms in the PS3 and the PC on May 4th and May 5th. Apparently, the PS3 will get it first. I think this article title is incorrect. From what I understood, the title is incorrect. May 4th will be the release for PSN in the United States. May 5th will be the release date for PSN worldwide. Probably due to timing. I mean, by the time it's time for it to be released, May 4th here, and other places it'll be May 5th. May 4th, it'll be for PCs worldwide. So nothing in here that really confirms a price for these other platforms. But I am going to go out on a limb here and gonna bet that it's gonna be $15. Yeah, you can bet your bottom nickel that it's gonna be $15 there, boy. Yeah, for 5 maps. Will it sell as much on the PS3 and PC as it did on the 360? Only time will tell. I really don't know. Check this out. This was over on joystick.com. And speaking of Modern Warfare 2 on the PC platform, this weekend, if you just gotta see what all the hoopla is about, if you just gotta know, man, what is going on with this mod? Why is everybody going Google Gaga 200-something thousand gaming years and spending 2.5 million in units and $15 a pop? Man, what's going on? Well, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 free weekend is this weekend, starting right now. Today's Thursday, so it's going on right now. Of course, they're having issues on Steam. They always have issues on Steam when anything is released. But it'll be from now through Sunday. You can play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer absolutely free on your PC. So check the system requirements, see if your PC meets them, and download it. You know, try it out. I'm going to be playing a little bit probably tonight and maybe some tomorrow with some people. We're probably going to meet up in the Steam chat room, on the Buona.tv Steam chat room, and build some lobbies from there. And I really wanted the prestige before I did this, so I could, start level 1s with everybody. But I'm like level 63, second prestige or something like that now, and I don't think I'm gonna have the stamina to push through the 70 before everybody can get on. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 free weekend, guys. Check it out. This one's over on Steam Powered news section over there. YouTube. Let's shift gears a little bit to YouTube. As you probably know, YouTube rolled out a brand new user interface shortly after my last show, actually. And a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people still don't like it. It's bug-ridden. It has a lot of issues. People can't find stuff. But on top of that, this is an update that I actually haven't seen personally yet on my local computers. They've rolled out a new user interface for the video player itself. Yeah, so this new video player is a brand new user interface for YouTube, and I haven't seen it. If you guys seen it, let me know. I don't really have any thoughts on it because I haven't used it. I can only go by what they say in this article. But it has some subtle changes. As you can see, the scrub bar is a little different. Things are a little bit, hidden per se. Not a whole lot of big changes, but if you use YouTube like I do, I go to YouTube every day. You'll probably notice every little change that comes about. The user interface, everything that they changed was a big update. I mean, they changed a lot of stuff. But this one's a little minor. It's in the Flash video player itself. Check it out. This one's over on InsideTheWeb2Bs.com. Blu-ray. Blu-ray is getting a capacity increase. Oh, but there's a catch, Kimosabe. It's going to be a capacity increase to 128 gigabytes. Very cool, right? Oh, no, but it's going to require a brand new player. Yeah. It's a new format, but it's going to require a new player and recorder to use this new specification. Now, this new BDXL specification describes high-capacity recordable and rewritable discs that will write up to 128 gigabytes on each disc. Those are write once capability. Now, the IHBD format will contain 2 layers of 25 gigabytes each, one for BD-ROM use and BDRE use, designed for viewing but not overwriting data. So these 2 different formats are out there. Will I be upgrading? I don't think so. I mean, I got my PS3. That's the only Blu-ray player I have in the house. I was looking at Woot.com. They had a Samsung refurbished unit for like $80. It supported Netflix and YouTube and everything. I almost got it, but I didn't have enough money. I could have bought it, but I would have been sorry. I would have been sorry. But Blu-ray discs are increasing capacity. Now, up till now, we've had firmware updates that can support all these different capacity increases and different features, 3D and stuff. But this looks like this one's going to require a brand new player. Check it out. Gizmodo has the details over there. Now, we're going to, end today's show with something a little bit troubling. The FCC and Comcast have been going at it about internet throttling. If you've ever seen internet throttling or heard of internet throttling, you know something that's not cool. Basically, the cable or internet provider decides that you've used too much bandwidth, and they say, oh, we're going to turn off the water. We're going to turn off your internet flows. We're going to clog your tubes with kittens. We're going to keep the kittens alive, but we're going to clog your internet tubes with kittens. Kittens. But the FCC has lost a battle in court. They said that the FCC cannot stop Comcast from doing internet throttling. Yeah, the FCC this court decision basically said that the FCC doesn't have the authority to do it. The FCC, which admitted that it has no express statutory authority over such practices, has based its argument Section 4I of the 1934 Communications Act, which allows the FCC to perform any and all acts to make such rules and regulations and issue such orders, blah, 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 blah. The court says you don't have the authority to do that. You have no authority. This article says expect an appeal. I'm going to be watching this one very closely because I'm a big user of Comcast. I have not witnessed throttling on my connection yet. So a lot of people have. I have not. I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see it. Check this out, guys. This is over on GamePolitics.com. Not good news for those of us who want to use our internet the way it was meant to be used, the way we paid for it, the way it was designed. So check it out. And for our final story, I lied. This is going to be our final story. Raw Voice, the head company behind the Tech Podcast Network, which I am a part of, and I'm very proud of it. Raw Voice has issued a press release today. Very exciting news, guys. We are going to be on Boxy. Yeah, we are going to be on Boxy. Buona.org radio and Buona.tv. If you go there now, you'll see a new app in Boxy called Tech Podcasts. My podcasts are listed in that app, both of my podcasts. And Raw Voice has signed a deal with Boxy and Roku. If you got a Roku player, we'll be there as well. Very, very exciting news, guys. Go try it out. Go download the Boxy Alpha, the Boxy Beta. Go download the Boxy Beta. It is available for PC and Mac. You can get it working on your Apple TV like I have. I tried it out, guys. It looks great. Video comes through perfect. The audio comes through perfect. Great user interface over at Boxy. BOXEE. So please, guys, this is a great opportunity for me and my show, and for you guys to get new content in your living room. Boxy is definitely a good application, and so is Roku. And we're really looking forward to the Boxy Box. I talked about this on the previous show. The Boxy Box will be coming out. It'll be a dedicated appliance with Boxy. It'll have a keyboard. It'll have a remote. It's going to be very, very sweet. Can't wait for it to come out. Rob Voice has signed a deal with Boxy. Go check it out. And Roku. Go check it out. This is the press release. I have linked in the links over there. And that concludes episode 244. I made it. My voice is almost dead, but I made it. We're here live at live.buona.tv and over at justin.tv/Buona, where we do this live every Tuesday and Thursday night when I'm not sick, when I'm not congested to the point where my nostrils don't function. We do it about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, and we have a great time. After the show, we're probably going to goof off, talk about the show, come up with a snazzy title, and I go through the painful process of post-production. You guys can watch it all live at live.buona.tv. So thank you guys for coming by. I also want to encourage you guys. I just recently upgraded our forum. Go to buona.org/forum. I recently upgraded to a new version, added some new features. There's a chat room there now. Some very cool features there. You can discuss tech, ask questions. You know, if you guys have some questions for me or for the community, you can ask them there. We got a lot of smart people there. We discuss anime, we discuss sci-fi, general tech, and TV shows, and we got some comedy. It's a lot of cool stuff up there at buana.org/forum. That's buana.org/forum. So sign up today. All right, folks, that concludes episode 244 of buana.org Radio, and I will see you next time.